Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today you can see I've got two new enclosures here. These are the new style that I want to get for some arboreal tarantulas, but it's going to be perfect for something that needs a bit more room. So because these are quite tall, these ones, really clear as well. I really like how they're set up. So what I've got going in here today is Omothymus Violaceopes, a Singapore blue, but it isn't the one that's in here. This one's still only about 2 inches. It's at the top and it still looks like a M. balfouri. If any of you are aware of the Singapore blues, when they're tiny they don't have any colour. As they start growing they look the same as an M. balfouri with the creamy sort of brown colour. But this is what I normally put them in from slings, and then I move them up to the enclosures I'm going to grab in a second to show you. But that's a small one, so what's going in here is not small. I'd say one's an adult and one's a sub-adult, so I'll show you those. So she was just out in here. This is the female, she's in this one, and she's actually round the back with the tiger pattern. I'm not sure if you can see on there, but this is done really well for them from sling. I'd say like starting to be juvenile to this sort of size, because they're a very big tarantula. They can get up to 25 centimeters leg span, which is absolutely huge. And an arboreal one that can be sometimes quite bold, but then other times it's skitty and they run all over the place and they can jump as well. So it's not for the faint-hearted, this one, when they get big. So at the minute she's right there at the bottom, all scratched up. But what I want to do is get them out so we can have a look, and you can look at the tiger pattern. Hopefully she won't go mental and then jump off somewhere else. But you can see the size difference in the enclosure, so it's going to be a massive upgrade. So this is going to be for the female, and the male is bigger than her because he's matured. So I want to have a look at her and see if she will be, I think she's quite far off actually being paired, but I want to see how long I can keep them out. I'm going to put him in this one. And the difference for these is the Singapore blue, if you can look at the males and females as they're adults, I didn't realise that the colour, tiger pattern, but obviously the bluish coloration as well. But the male, I'll show you when I get him out, if he stays still, because he's a freaking lunatic, he goes all over the place. But if I can keep him still, he isn't like the female, and I don't think he necessarily was as he got to sub-adult stage. He changed colour. So whether they're dysmorphic, I think that's how you say it, I can't really be sure, but I'll put it up on the screen if they are. But he's gone yellow, so I didn't expect him to go that colour. So I want to try and get him out, but he's just really erratic and he's all over the place. So let me just clear these down. I'll get my little piece of wood out, if you remember, on the side, and then we'll get started and have a look at them. Right, so if you remember this, I built this ages ago. I've not really used it, but I've still kept it. So I'll just give it a light spray, and we're going to try and get it out on there so we can have a look, and hopefully it stays still and comfortable. Did work with a few species. The Samopairs victori, it managed to work on them even though they ran around. These can be quite skittish, and I can see the male in here, and he is completely a different colour, but he's quite skinny on his legs, but he's got some leg span on it as well. So you can see the previous videos of mine in these, because I put them in a link of their own series, so that if you want to, you can just go back and watch the previous ones. You can see the step in from when they grow smaller to bigger. And I really enjoyed feeding these as young slings, but you didn't really see them out. Now that they're getting to a decent size, I mean, the female is just there. She's out. She's got orange, red coloration with an amazing tiger pattern. So I'm hoping she will sit out there and not run to the other side. I've closed up the blinds a little bit because it's really sunny where we are today, and I know that'll make them feel a little bit more exposed. So I want to get a good look before we rehouse them. So place that there. So as we get into this, with the temperature, they like up to about 28 degrees, which is absolutely amazing for them. And I can actually get that where I've got them to 28 degrees. Just being a bit careful because sometimes this one runs out. This is the male that's matured, and it normally comes flying out. Let's just see if I can give you a little close-up before we take it out. There we go. So it doesn't look that big at the minute, and I think you can see what I mean. That does look yellow. So it looks so much more yellow off camera than it does on camera. But I'll see if I stand up now and see if I can pull this out on the cork block and encourage it onto the actual piece of wood on my base, and then we can see if we can have a good look at it. God, he is quite leggy. Can you see that? Don't want him running off. He's behaving at the minute. That looks really, really good in that light. But I'm not sure it's showing the actual yellow coloration on the camera. You just see it to the eye, and he is a lot bigger than what he looks. Still eating as well, but you can see his mature emboli there. Oh God, look how hairy that is. That looks freaky like that. Let's see if we can get him to go up a little bit. Just doing it at a distance because I know this can be very, very fast. And there we go. Into a threat slightly. See if I can shut the blinds. He's a very big size. Still unsure if that's showing the coloration though. Really, really beautiful. And I'm just so pleased that it's still eating as well. What I might do is just see if I can encourage it to walk straight into the enclosure. I've had no real fast bursts at the minute of speed, which I know this one has. So let's see if we can encourage it to go in. I did want it to go out and sit on there, but I don't want to push it because I have seen these explode. Right, let's see if we can encourage this one to go in. Come on, buddy. Oh God, look at that leg span. It's got the fangs out as well. See, the fangs were just poised out there. Oh, look at those. That is a good leg span, but its body size is just not that big. Come on, buddy. Come on, bud. Come on. Come on. Not a threat. Up you go. Not back in. Wow, just look how well camouflaged that is. And they have really, really good eyesight, and they can jump as well. So don't be fooled by the slow movement. Got to try and see if I can encourage this into the enclosure now. There we go, nice and easy. Just going to go straight in and hide. Wow, so that's that one there done. That made me sweat, even though it didn't look like to you guys watching, probably just looked really smooth and easy. I deal with this one all the time, every couple of days, and growing up this one as the male, he's just been very skittish, very erratic. Take the lid off this enclosure and he could be sat at the bottom. I could turn around, come back, and I hear the feet and he runs out, runs over the edge. Sometimes he can jump. He just gets really spooked really easy. So I kept my breathing a certain way because I know that when I'm dealing with them normally, I forget and then I blow on them and then that makes him go all over the place. But they did really, really well in these sort of tubs from about that size onwards, so say about an inch to that size, and he's matured in there and he's been absolutely fine. I know some people say that these size enclosures are too small for a big spider, especially when they get to like 20 centimeters plus, but I'm not going to put them in there at that size. He's matured out slightly smaller, and then when he got to the end of maturing, I didn't really see him that often, so I didn't know. But that's why I was getting ready now to move the female over into that big one, so she's got plenty of room. So that's the male done. Let's have a look at the female. The female's actually gone inside now, and I can feel her moving around. She's right down there in her bit of cork bark, so I think I can pull that out and get her out with it. But you can see what I mean. I've got the moss and everything in the bottom, and I dry that out sometimes. Leave the water in the water dish, and then I just mist and spray every 2 days, 2 to 3 days. Right, she tends to be a little bit more chilled, but we'll soon see, because now that the male is chilled, I'm hoping she's not going to be too feisty. Oh, here she comes. God, her webbing is so strong. Remove that. And there, if you can see already what I mean by the colour, she's just oranges and little bits of red, and the tiger pattern when you see on her bum in a minute is absolutely stunning. So I'm going to see if I can place that down here and encourage her to climb up. Let's see if this will work. Let's try with the straw again and see. She almost looks a bit like the Saba Blue at the minute I've got a female Saba Blue, and almost looks quite similar. Right, so I've no idea how she's going to react, so I'm just going to gently touch her. And the reason I'm not doing it with a paintbrush, you can see all of those hairs all over, and a paintbrush will stick to those hairs, and then you can't get the spider to let go, or you can't get the paintbrush off. So that's why I'm not doing it, because it spooks this type of spider. All right, let's see if we can encourage it. Get that. There we go, spread out. So deceiving as well. So slow moving, but then it can just explode or go into a threat. Yeah, she's going to turn around. Look, absolutely stunning coloration. Look, see what I mean by the abdomen? Absolutely beautiful. And you've got to love a tarantula that when you touch, it turns around to you. There we go. Come on, sweetie. There we go. Come on. Not a threat from her, but look at the coloration. Oh, I don't want her to go down and hide. Look at that. And that's not even fully grown yet. Nowhere near. Because apparently there's some specimens out there over 20 centimetres, up to 25. But that coloration is absolutely stunning. I would estimate, gotta be about 16 centimetres, maybe even 17 fully stretched out. Absolutely stunning. Really well behaved as well. I've never had any trouble with this one, the female. Never at all. It's always been the male. And I've got a younger Singapore Blue, which is 1 inch, and I've got no idea. Because with this species, it says to every one female, I think it's 5 or 6 males. The females are hard to come by. And I've had 5 or 7 in my collection now, and this is the first female. Absolutely beautiful. You can see what I mean by the hairs though, just stunning. But I think this has got more stronger venom. But I don't want to push this one too far. I managed to get her out to give you guys a look. You can see how big she is on the base there, but the male is even bigger. He is got to be about 20 centimetres. I'll see if I can try and measure him when he's stretched out, and I may add this on to the video at the end. But she's not far off him, so cannot wait for these to get to the full adult coloration. I'll put a picture up there of what an adult looks like. I've got to say, her coloration, stunning. Right, now I've got to try and see if I can get her in. Oh, she's stretching out. Yeah, I think roughly 16 centimetres she is at the minute. That is really, really good. That's still a big spider. Right, let me grab her enclosure. See if we can encourage her to move back to the enclosure you can see to the right. Oh, you gotta love it when they do that. Fangs out ready. And it has the same shiny pads underneath like the OBTs. Look at that, that is so impressive. I want to go closer, but I know how fast these can move. The male did the same and then didn't actually bite, so let's just see if I can get her to move. Whoa, almost. Oh, there we go. One slap. I'm annoying you, aren't I? Oh, and again. I am pushing it now because she will run. Once they've done a few slaps and you stay there, they will just run and bolt. So I may need to cup her just not to stress her out and then see if we can encourage her in. There we go. Managed to subdue her. See if I can get her to climb up. Come on, sweetie. I want to get you in your home. Not too bad. See if I can get her to go down from there. And then I'll try and give you a close-up. Let her take her feet off. There we go. Nice and easy. Brilliant. Look at that tiger pattern. And there she is there. So I'm going to let her calm down and let her do some webbing for a couple of days, and then I may feed her as well. And then just keep these enclosures together and then see what happens if she starts drumming back to the male. So there we have it. So hopefully you got to see both of them. You got to see the difference in colour from the male when it matures out. But she was very well behaved. Obviously she did a couple of slaps, but I was annoying her. I was pushing her. Beautiful spider with the coloration. I'm quite surprised by the male though, because he normally gives me a lot of trouble. So he's quite good today. He just raised up. He didn't give any slaps. But they can go from here to there in like a jiffy. They can jump as well. So it's not for the faint-hearted, this species, because of the fast movement and because of the tendency to raise up, and they can also jump, which I have seen in my collection. But this is going to do her a while now in this enclosure. I'll give her a nice big massive hide, as you can see there, which she can go down underneath and web up round the back, and she can make that her own. So I'm going to put both of them together on my shelf up there and then just see what happens if he starts drumming and if she responds, and then obviously I may introduce him to her. But I hope you enjoyed that one. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.